Welcome back, guys, for another Random Rant Wednesday, where I rant and rave about the things I love and hate. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. This week's topic is myths or exaggerations in media. Like this topic, I've got some stuff to talk about. I absolutely despise some of these myths. I feel like a lot of people suspend disbelief, which is the whole point of movies, TV shows, and blah blah blah. But you know, when you kind of like read up about these things, or let's say, I imagine doctors hate some TV shows, you know, when you're watching it, and I bet they're like, actually, if you cut the vagina dentata, it will not do that. It will not spread blood. I can imagine that they would absolutely despise it. Which, funny enough, one of my topics is something that I do definitely know about, and I hate on it as well. So, the first topic is unlimited bullets. There's a few films like John Wick who have addressed this, where they actually go and count every shot that they do. So every time they reload, it makes sense. So you see him shooting, and if he's got something with 12 bullets, he'll shoot 12 times, then he'll have to reload or swap guns or whatever. And I really appreciate that. Not that anyone who actually knows anything about it will care, but especially the 80s, 90s action films, it's just people like the whole time, never reload. They never have to stop. They never have to find another gun. It never jams. Like, it's just, it's worse than a video game. Like, at least in video games, you have to find ammo. It just baffles me. It really winds me up, because, you know, even miniguns, anything that's got a massive amount of bullets still runs out, like anything. It'd be amazing if you opened a beer can and you just drank. You'd be like, oh yeah, I seem to have been drinking this for 3 hours. Oh, it's still full. The next topic would be being knocked out for hours. Now, this is something that people seem to, you know, look over, and it has to be done for narrative reasons, because, you know, someone comes up and karate chops someone, and then they wake up like 3 hours later. Like, James Bond is really bad for it. They always do it. You know, he'll do something, he'll come in and he'll beat all the bad guys, and be like, shaken, not stirred. And then someone comes up and boop, the gun, and then he wakes up later like, oh, where am I? Well, Mr. Bond. And it's like, he's got brain damage. He would be in a coma. You know, if anyone's been in a fight or watches UFC, if someone gets knocked out, like, these are like stupid things in films where they literally like whack them in the neck and they're just out for hours. If it was that easy, oh my God, the fights would be ridiculous. We'd all be dead. We'd be dead as a species. If all it took was, you know, imagine a box falls off you in Audi, lands on your shoulder, oh, that's it, and then everyone's stacking the shelves and wheeling their carts around you for 3 hours while you're unconscious. It's just a myth that seems to be perpetuated, and it still to this day happens. People get knocked out, they, you know, somehow dragged, picked up, teleported, whatever, to another location, and then they wake up and they're compos mentis within, you know, 10 seconds. It's like, if anyone's seen someone get woken up from a coma, they don't wake up and be like, oh, mama, papa, hello, do. They don't. You know, you wake up and you're like, oh, because you've been unconscious, potentially brain damaged, a long time. Like, if you're unconscious for more than, I'm just saying a figure, it might be wrong, let's say 3 minutes. If you're unconscious for more than 3 minutes, you would most likely have a bleed on the brain or something very serious, or you are dead. But no, apparently James Bond has some kind of crazy Wolverine brain healing powers. Literally, like, he gets knocked out and then tied to a chair and then wakes up like the next day to get his balls smashed in with a weird piece of rope. Sorry, I just find it hilarious. Some of these things, especially James Bond. I'm not a massive James Bond hater, but that's the main one that comes to mind all the time. It always happens. So yeah, if you have ever been knocked out for a day and you are, not a vegetable, let me know in the comments. This one is something that seems to be happening a lot in the new era of films. Shall we say modern movies? Where, as a thing to say that if a woman is highly trained in a martial arts or a skill or anything, then yes, they will be able to take on most normal people. But in these films, like, they'll have someone and it's some badass woman and she's coming in and she's throwing, literally physically throwing these 200-pound guys, 300-pound, like massive guys, as though they're nothing. And it's like, if anyone who is trained in martial arts or has even been in just a fight with someone your own size, if they grab you, you don't just like and launch them and they like literally go flying. Or there'll be someone, like, there'll be a woman that's like they've got the tiniest fists, like a tiny woman, and she punches a guy once and he is just out cold, absolutely just like, or dead. And it's like, it's not physically, like, the physics aren't there. Like, that's what it comes down to. Is if Brock Lesnar has something like 5XL gloves, if he hits you, his hand is enormous. It's probably the size of my face. He will knock pretty much anyone out because of the physics. Whereas if someone's got a hand that's that big, and it's like, you'd be like, oh, ow, that hurt. Come on, man. But in these films, there's no thing of, women. Yes, women can fight. There is no disagreement there. It's not saying that they can't, but there is a thing with size difference. Like, I'm 6 foot, about 210 pounds. Like, if I fight someone who is a lot smaller than me, a lot lighter than me, sure, they might be able to grab me and, will try to grab me. It's like, I've seen, what is it? It's the new Last of Us. I'm sure she gets someone in an armbar in that, and it's like, she is tiny. She is tiny as a full-grown bloke. If that was me and I got put in an armbar by a child, essentially a child, like, she must weigh like, what, 70, 80 pounds, I would literally lift her up, slam, and she's done. It's not a thing of gender or anything like that. It's just because if you've seen Rhea Ripley, not probably be able to, she most likely would knock me out. I try and put up a good fight, but I'm pretty sure she would knock me out. And that's because she is fudging massive. Whereas compared to, Scarlett Johansson or whatever her name is who plays Ellie in Last of Us, Potato Girl. No, like, Scarlett Johansson's, I think she's tall. She's not like big, she's not muscly. But that's why in Terminator 2, Terminator 2, she got ripped. And it's believable, her fighting off other people. She even struggled against the guards. She was ripped, like, probably best shape she's ever been in her life. They made it realistic where she struggled because the guy was like, he wasn't massive, he was quite like, he was a chubby guy. So her overpowering him would be a struggle, just in general. Even though she's in shape, this guy wasn't in shape, he was just bigger than her. I had a bigger frame, everything. It's a myth. There's people where they, take on someone way bigger than them, and it'd be dangerous. Like, I feel like that is a dangerous thing where they're showing someone, easily overpowering someone 3 times their size. It doesn't work like that. Size does matter to a degree. If someone is 80 pounds and someone is 300 pounds, they could lay on them. I've done it to a friend. We've been like play fighting. Shout out Andrew if you're listening. We were play fighting, and he was like trying to grapple me up and stuff and do all these like things, and I just literally laid on him. And he had to give up because I'm bigger than him. So in these films where, they're doing these crazy things and just like taking on a room full of 30 massive blokes, and it's some like 100-pound woman who doesn't look like she works out. Like, if I have no problem with it, like Terminator 2, if they look the part. You know, they look ripped and they look like they, you know, they could hurt someone, like Rhea Ripley. I'd love to see her in a action film, because I'd believe it if she showed up and was like going around like beating the crap out of these guys. Yeah, look at the size of her arms, look how in shape she is, she's big. Anyway, that's a massive rant that's just happened, but no sexism or anything, just saying it would not happen. Like, even with a bloke, if there's a guy who's 80 pounds and he fights a 300 pound guy, most likely the 300 pound guy will win just because he is massive. If they grab hold of each other, he's done. My next pet peeve would be silencers on guns. They're actually, proper name is noise suppressors. So they don't silence guns, but they always call them silencers. You know, you see it in movies all the time where they'll get something like, I don't know, a pillow or something and stick it on the end of the gun and then they shoot someone and all you hear is psst, that's it. It would still be loud, it would still be bang, and you would still very much hear it, but they'll do it where someone's in the next room and they shoot for a pillow or use an actual silencer, they would still hear them. There's no way you would, I mean, even if it did just go psst, you'd hear that. If you were in the next room, you'd be like, what was that noise? That was weird. That one's a little quick one, but it's still irritating that people go around using these silencers and no one ever hears them. It would make games a lot harder if they weren't silent. So I'll give that a pass. But yeah, silencers are not silencers. They suppress the noise, so it is slightly quieter. This is the one, as I said earlier, where if you're a doctor, you probably really get annoyed at shows and films where there's surgeries and other bits in it. This is one for me that irritates me. I work in IT, and whenever I see something, I thought this was stupid before because I've always been into computers and everything, is hacking / computery people. You know, they're like, oh, we've got this guy who's this amazing hacker, he'll get in the system. And he literally just goes, I'm in. Or the opposite, where they're literally putting something in, and if you look what they're actually typing, and it'll be like an IP address or something, and they just put that in, or they'll put random commands in the thing because it looks cool because it's green on black, and it's like, it's very rare that you'll get something that's green on black. Like, that's old like DOS software from back in the day. I mean, sure, you could put your own custom skin over something, but it's just really irritating that they show something and they'll, you know, like even in Terminator 2 again. Terminator, he goes up and he just puts that card thing in and he's like, you know, types a couple of things and he's like, oh cool, I've got loads of cash. It's like, wow, so it's that easy to hack into a literal bank software with some little Game Boy kind of thing with a card attached to it. I mean, you know, there is like cybernetic beings hunting him down, but you know, it is one of those things that kind of irritates me. They'll, you know, use some jargon because it's written by someone who has no idea about computers, and they've probably seen another film that's got computers in it, or a hacker guy. Just get someone who knows how hacking actually works. But I suppose if you watched a film and they did normal hacking, you know, like, oh, we need this hacked as soon as possible. Okay, mate, yeah, so give me about 3 months, maybe a year, depending what kind of equipment I've got, and then we'll hack it. I can't wait that long. Well, sorry, mate, that's how it works. It don't take 5 minutes. They need, you know, there's such a big market on the black market for day zero hacks for computers, and you know, unless they literally went and spent $1 million, 50K, something to get this exact exploit that would work on like this keycard door or something, this super top secret facility, you know, they get someone in and it's like, you know, you'll have this hacker guy and he's comes in and just starts, and then there's a whole team of CIA super amazing, probably top tier hackers as well. Oh no, he's better than everyone else. Like, you give him 10 minutes and he'll be able to reverse engineer this code. It doesn't work like that. Not in proper circles. Or maybe that's why cybersecurity is so big these days, because maybe it was like that at some point, but it's just perpetuated through media for years, and it just gets on my nerves. And my final one, we're already here on the final one. This is something, it's action films, they have so many myths, so many, but shooting cars and they explode. They did a Mythbusters episode on this. doesn't work. I believe more modern films kind of play on this now. You know, you'll see, I think it's 21 Jump Street. I'm sure they do it on that, or 22 Jump Street, one of them, where they shoot it and they're like, why didn't it explode? And it's because it wouldn't. Like, these things with the gas canisters, you know, it's like, if you're shooting the petrol tank, the bullets might, you know, they might, maybe, possibly, I'm sure on Mythbusters they did it and it was like, yeah, it's very, very small possibility. But they literally had it where they had fuel on the floor and they had a lighter and they dropped the lighter. That's another one. That can tie into this. You know, the whole things explode thing, I suppose. That could be the overarching myth. You know, they even dropped a lighter or something else and it didn't light on fire. It has to be an active thing that can, you know, it's already aflame. Like, you shooting the tank will not do what you expect it to do. It won't create a spark. Maybe if you had like an incendiary round, maybe that would work. Or did they do that on Mythbusters maybe? Put in the comments below if you've seen that episode. I can't remember if they did incendiary bullets, but yeah, maybe that would work. It's just started raining, so sorry if you can hear that. Might make you fall asleep. Maybe you can put this on as ASMR, you know, at the end of a long day, just listen to the rain while I rant. Maybe that'll be another content we can make. This is the final. I know I said the last one was final, but this is the final one. It kind of involves, I think I had the thought process of shootouts and shooting, you know, hiding behind car doors. That's it. Yeah, links in. Car doors, car exploding, blah, blah, blah. And wooden objects. So you always see it in films, you know, there's like a shootout and they hide behind the car door. They like open the car door to protect them from bullets. They're like that. There's metal like that thin. That ain't stopping a bullet. There's people that have had like, you know, someone's been saved by a Bible. Bearing in mind the Bible is quite thick. These car doors are, you know, they're thin. And then the inside, it's not like they've got a breeze block inside them. They're basically hollow with plastic on the other side. So it'll just go straight through you, or at least go into you and it will, you know, really hurt. But they do it and they hide behind, you know, there's that classic cliche thing of, you know, they dive over a table and tip the table over with them. It's like, bro, I've stood on a table and it's collapsed, like it's broken through. So you're telling me some IKEA furniture, if you tip over this IKEA desk, it's going to stop bullets? If so, IKEA has got, you know, they're selling them for way too cheap. Bulletproof IKEA furniture, you know, bulletproof or whatever they might call it. It's just one of those pet peeves where you're hiding behind something that is very clearly not going to protect you from literal bullets. They still do it even now. I can't remember what film I've seen recently. You know, it's like, it might have been Nobody 2. But anyway, yeah, hiding behind something. And it's like, these things will not stop bullets. You have to be behind, you know, bulletproof glass is specifically made to stop bullets. But they will like run, you know, someone will run past and they're in the windows and they're shooting them and they're going, you know, they're like hitting them and going through or bouncing off or something. It's like, they would crack or they'd at least go through. Yeah, it just baffles me. And it makes me think, has there been any deaths in the real world? You know, like where there's gangs having shootouts and they'll be like, oh, don't worry, let's just hide behind the car door. And then that's it, they're dead. It'd be hilarious if that is the case. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this week's Random Rant Wednesday of myths or exaggeration in media. If there's any that really pee you off that you can think of that I haven't thought of, put it in the video because I could always do a part 2 to this because there's so many. These were just the main ones that came to mind when this topic came up. As always, like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this content because I love ranting. I love to get it out of my system. And I hope you guys find it entertaining. Peace.